What is up, fans? What is up, followers? Welcome back to the Third Bowl. I'm your host, Devin Welsh. And in today's show, I gotta share with y'all my Week 8 USFL power rankings. And word on the street of Twitter is I got the best rankings in the league when it comes to the power rankings. Check out RJ from Fox Sports. Check out the USFL Network. And then check out mine. Let me know what y'all think. I think I got the best in the league. I think I got the best out there. But I always want to hear from my fans and followers. So drop a comment. Let me know how you like it. Now let's get into it. Topping it off at number 1, we got the 6-2 Stallions. Of course, they remain in the top spot. After facing off with the Stars, it was a nail biter. And it was a rematch of last year's USFL championship game for those of you who watched. Last year's championship game, I was actually rooting for the Stars at the time. I felt like the Stars were the underdogs. That's just how it felt. I was totally rooting for Case Cookis last year. Loved it. And then, dude, he went down with that leg snap. It was gnarly. It was pretty gnarly. But this year, much different. I mean, of course, Case Cookis is back for the Stars. But for the Stallions, we got Alex Magoo, number 2, Superman Magoo, leading the way, leading the Stallions to a 27-24 victory over the Stars. Stallions are the top team in the league. Alex Magoo is the MVP in my opinion. He's got his trusty sidekick CJ Marable just slicing and dicing, waiting patiently for the right crease to hit that burst and hit that hole hard. I love watching that guy out of the backfield, dude. He's a beast. He's a beast. He needs to be in the conversation for top back in the league. That's how I feel, at least. But like I said, Alex Magoo, in my opinion, he's the MVP. This is the best team in the league. This is the most complete team defensively, special teams, offensively. And look, I'm going to just read from my notes real quick. We got this guy named Petaway. I didn't hear of him before this past weekend. This guy showed up and showed out, bro. I expect his role to increase moving forward. I think that'd be smart of Skip Holtz, the head coach of the team. Speaking of the head coach, another reason why I think the Stallions are the best team in the league and the number 1 power ranked team in this league is because of the communication between Skip Holtz, the head coach, and Alex Magoo, the leader of the offense, the quarterback. It's just amazing. Every single time they show a little snippet of Holtz and Magoo communicating, it's just amazing. And it reminds me of my head coach back in high school. I had a great head coach. His communication skills with his players was great. That's one of the reasons why I love playing with him. He was just a beast too when he played. So anyway, Stallions, of course, are on top yet again. All right, my number 2 ranked USFL team for this week, we got the 5-3 Showboats. They've just been on a tear. Dude, 5 straight wins. Cole Kelly, he's probably my second or maybe third favorite quarterback in this league. I don't know, maybe fourth. I don't know. It's kind of hard. We'll get into that later. But, dude, this team's just turned it around. They've just turned it around. Let's check some notes. Okay, we got Cole Kelly and company, 5-game winning streak. I wouldn't be surprised if they win again this week against the Breakers. They are facing the Breakers. That's going to be a good game. One of the more important games for the USFL South Division, right? So the Showboats versus Generals game from this past weekend, it was one of the games from this, like I said, from this past weekend that I was not able to watch, unfortunately, and I was not able to record it. I don't know, I guess I forgot to record it. I was a little busy, y'all. Just in case y'all don't follow me on Twitter, let me share. I was a little busy because I was proposing to my girlfriend. Oh, and she said yes. Oh, super cute. Yes, my girlfriend said yes. We will be tying the knot. I am now engaged, and it's so amazing. I'm the luckiest man on the planet. She's the most beautiful woman in the world, and I love her so much. But back to football. Let's get into it. All right, the one concern I have for the Showboats, really, the one concern I have, their red zone offense, right? This past weekend, I did look it up. They had 5 red zone trips, 1 red zone touchdown. Luckily, they have a really good kicker. I think it's Alex Kessman. He went 6 for 6 on field goals for the day. And I believe that's the second game in the last 4 or 5 weeks where basically Alex Kessman, the kicker, scored almost all the points for the Showboats. So one of the reasons why I can't put the Showboats higher is because of that inefficient red zone offense. We shall see how it happens moving forward. And I expect that Breakers game to be good. In the 3rd spot this week, we got the 5-3 Breakers. They finally get back in that win column. after turning the ball over 4 times against the Panthers. I don't know. I think that says more about the Panthers than it does about the Breakers. Anyway, Johnny Dixon had himself a day. Johnny Dixon and Jay Adams, the two top receivers, aside from Sage Surratt, of course, but the 2 top receivers for the Breakers, they both had themselves a day, right? Let's look at it. Johnny Dixon, 9 catches, 2 touchdowns, right? Jay Adams, 8, maybe more. It's hard for me I tally it up. I don't really look back at some of those stats, but they both had a great day. All right. So real quick, I have the Breakers over the Gamblers because of how weak the Gamblers looked this past weekend. I did watch that game against the Maulers. The Maulers should have won, right? I'll share more later when I get to the Maulers, but back to the Breakers. I still have my concerns with MBT. Since week 1, I've said this dude takes forever to get going. He usually gets going in the second half, right? For an experienced veteran quarterback who's won, 2 or 3 Gray Bowls or whatever they're called, Gray Cups. I don't understand how that's happening or why that's happening, especially now, this late into the season. I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know what's going on with the Breakers, but it's going to be a very tough game for them this weekend against the Showboats. All right, now I'm sure y'all figured it out. In the 4th spot this week, I have the 5-3 Gamblers. Let's check the notes. The Gamblers won this game because the Maulers lost. I know that might make sense logically, right? Philosophically. Oh, let us think and wonder. But yes, of course that makes sense. But really, the Gamblers should not have won this game. That's how I genuinely feel, right? Let's get deeper into the notes. I wanted to put the Stars at 4, right? So that means I have the Stars at 5. I wanted to put the Stars at 4. But then I remembered the Gamblers beatdown of the Stars in week 4, 41-16. So because of that, I do have to edge out the Gamblers over the Stars and keep them at 4th. Definitely have to share this. Mark Thompson, Mark Thompson, number 7, one of the, if not the best running back in the league, has scored his 13th rushing touchdown of the season. And there's still 2 more weeks, right? So that is the record most in spring football in the 21st century, right? And this, to be honest, some of these people that put out stats, it really irritates me how they cherry pick these stats. They set it up in such a way that it sounds like it's some groundbreaking thing, but in reality it's not. This guy didn't even come close yet to the actual record for most rushing touchdowns in a season, right? So that's why they had to include in the 21st century, right? Because if we look back in the 20th century, which might sound strange, but in the 20th century, back in 1984 and 85, Herschel Walker, one of the best running backs out of the USFL and in the NFL, right? Let me pull it up. Herschel Walker scored 21 touchdowns in 1 season, right? So, just something that definitely grinds my gears. I just had to get it off my chest. Thank you for letting me share. Anyway, Gamblers had 10 or more penalties this past weekend. It's not the first time that's happened with the Gamblers. They're very flag prone or penalty prone team. It's one of the things that, in my opinion, really drags them down. But they're still 4th in my power rankings this week. They face the Stallions this coming weekend. It's going to be a very important game, once again, for the USFL South. In the 5th spot, we got the 4-4 Stars. The Stars team is not the same team from weeks 1 through 4, let me tell you. That's for sure. Case Cookus is looking good. That offensive line is looking way better compared to the first couple weeks when he was getting sacked 5 or more times a game. I saw in the game that we watched, right? I believe it's Chris Sims who's the commentator. Might not be. I'm pretty sure it is, though. He was sharing that they brought in this offensive lineman. He's 6'9". He's anchoring down, I think, the right side. And ever since he joined the offensive line, no more sacks for Cookus. When Cookus has a clean kitchen, he's going to whip up something delicious, man. He really is, right? Right, let's get back to the notes. The supporting cast has been stepping up. Matt Colburn, number 5, that running back. Unfortunately, he's down with injuries on IR, actually. But he was tearing it up. And, of course, Dexter Williams filling in for the injured Matt Colburn. Of course, they have Kerry Coleman. They still have DeAndre Overton. They still have Devin Gray, one of my favorite receivers in the league. He doesn't get enough love, in my opinion, but... Oh, and of course, in my notes, I have to mention this. Number 55, Gabe Sewell on that defense. He is always flying around, making incredible tackles, and always just laying the boom. I love watching him play. To be honest, it reminds me a little bit of Ray Ray. But let's get back into it. At number 6, we have the 3-5 Panthers. Each week, the Panthers find another way to get in their own way. Their defense forced 4 turnovers this past weekend against the Breakers, and they still couldn't win. And they didn't even turn over the ball themselves. I don't get it. Josh Well is playing good too. Josh Love is playing well too. He really is. Like, that touchdown pass to Trey Quinn was amazing. It was beautiful. That looked NFL level, NFL quality. Ball placement, spiral, spin, look. It was good. It was very good. But I don't know what's going on. Reggie Corbin ripped off a 51-yard touchdown. Beautiful run. Later on in the game, got injured. I believe it's his right shoulder. I think he went down hard on it. It's been acting up the last couple weeks, but I don't know. I mean, somehow the Panthers are still in contention. I think they're in the number 2 seed for the USFL North. If they win, and then they win again the next week, or if they win and certain teams lose, they will secure a spot in the playoffs, which would be amazing. Amazing, in my opinion. Also, real quick, I just saw it in my notes. What's up with the Panthers using their last timeout with 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter? This head coach, I believe it's Nolan. This guy, man, multiple times throughout the season, he's made some very interesting calls when it comes to timeouts and just general play calling and offensive style and planning. It's just, I don't know. If they somehow squeak their way into the playoffs, I mean, they have a shot. I mean, when they're hot, really. I mean, like I said, Josh Love, he's got good ball placement. Reggie Corbin was healthy. Joe Walker. That defense, of course, Breland Speaks, leading the league in sacks. We got Frank Ginda. I think he's won Defensive Player of the Week 3 times now. He is leading the league in interceptions. I mean, he's tied with 2 other people, but still, like, it's a good team. It's just there's certain, like I said, every week they somehow find another way to get in front of themselves. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating, especially as a Panthers fan. That's like the team I picked at the beginning of the season, the Panthers. I love their color scheme. I love their, the way that their helmets look. I really love Reggie Corbin. I think he's a great running back. But it's just super frustrating as a Panthers fan watching them continue to play like this at week 8. I digress. At number 7 in the power rankings, we got the 2-6 Maulers. And the Maulers should have won this game this past weekend. They really should have. Blewett hit 4 field goals prior to missing the game-winning field goal. And he hit like a 51-yarder or something. They should have won the game. Unfortunately, they didn't, but it's okay. They, much like the Showboats, have been having issues getting into the end zone, right? They only had 1 offensive touchdown in the game, the Maulers. And that was the first drive, basically, of the game. After that, it was all field goals there on out. So somehow they still have a running to get into the playoffs. So we shall see how this plays out moving forward. Like I said earlier, we got 2 more weeks. We got this upcoming weekend and the following weekend, and then it's playoff season. All right. And last but not least, in the 8th spot for my USFL power rankings, we got the 2-6 Generals. SOS. They need some help. I like Pro Cup. I actually ended up watching the game last night. It was just airing on Fox Sports, I believe, or FS1. So I was just watching it before I went to bed. Pro Cup, I remember back in week 2 or 3, I was a huge advocate for Pro Cup. I really like his play style. It's definitely something that I could see working with that offense, with that beautiful offensive line that just creates amazing run lanes for Darius Victor and for Pro Cup. So I don't know, let's see what happens. I think the USFL North Division, every single team is still technically in contention for the playoffs. I mean, it's going to be hard to try and get to that 1 seed. I think the Stars pretty much have that locked up. But that 2nd seed, that number 2 seed is still open for business, right? All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Just want to say thank you so much to all of my fans and followers. I didn't know I really had fans and followers. It feels really good. Somebody asked me if I was going to put out a show this week, and it was like, whoa, I got a fan. It made me feel really good. Anyway, thank you all so much for the love, for the support. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Best way for this to get around. Share it with your friends. If you got some friends that watch USFL, or, if you're big Ravens fans, NFL fans, please feel free to share my content, share my channel with any and everybody. Thank you so much for everybody that tuned in. That's going to wrap it up. And tune in next week for my USFL Power Rankings. Adios.